It's GB here, and I'm bringing you, as promised, a deck profile with a combination of two mostly rock decks. The reason I say mostly is because Koa'ki Meiru, it has a lot of other types in it, except I think that the rocks are the best aspect of it. And Triamids, they're just not very well known, so you've probably already seen that I've posted a video about this and then taken it down. That's because, first of all, that the video quality was really bad, and like the setting of the video, it was also really bad. So I'm taking it with a new phone because my last phone just decided to break up the video. So without further ado, let's just get right into this. And keep in mind that an extra deck is completely, like, you don't have to play an extra deck. It's only if you really want to, I guess. You won't even go into that often, since you're using your Koa'ki Meirus to tribute and negate, and your Triamids just to do a bunch of looping. Okay, so starting out with the Koa'ki Meirus, we're playing 3 Overload. One thing about the rock-type Koa'ki Meirus is that they all have negates to a certain thing. Overload is Summon Negate, and then the others, I'll go over them soon, but I'm playing 3 because Summon Negates are amazing. Like, you have to take down monsters however you can. Moving on, playing 3 Koa'ki Meiru Guardians. He's a monster effect negate, so that's also extremely good, and that's why I'm playing 3. And what I forgot to mention about Koa'ki Meirus is that they have a requirement that during the end phase, the card gets destroyed unless you either send one Iron Core of Koa'ki Meiru from your hand to the grave, or reveal a rock type in your hand. Now, since it doesn't specify it has to be Koa'ki Meiru, it means that you can use Triamids also. Moving on, I'm playing 2 Koa'ki Meiru Wall. He's your spell negate. I'm considering playing 3 and then taking out 1 Sandman, which is what I'm going to show you next. 2 Koa'ki Meiru Sandman. He is a trap negate, and that's why I'm considering taking him out, because he's not very good, because he can't take down spell speed 3 traps. So that would be awesome if he could. All right, so that's all the Koa'ki Meirus. Now let's get right into the Triamids. Playing 2 Triamid Sphinx. This is your win condition of the deck, basically. You want to get him out as fast as possible and then get a bunch of field spells with different names, or Triamid field spells with different names in your grave because they boost his attack. So he's a level 10 rock, earth type. He can't be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned with the effect of a Triamid card, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. His effect reads, if a face-up Triamid card you control, except for Sphinx, is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and while you control another Triamid, this card gains 500 attack and defense for each field spell, with a different name in your grave. Also, monsters your opponent controls can't attack except to attack Sphinx. So there are 3 Triamid field spells with different names, and I'm only playing one of the last because it's okay, I guess. But basically, you get them in the grave, you boost them up to 4k, and your opponent can attack any other monsters. Moving on to what I would say to be the best of the Triamids, Triamid Hunter. His effect says, if a field spell is faced upon the field, you can normal summon 1 rock-type monster in addition to your normal summoner set. So that's really good because you can normal summon your Koa'ki Meirus, which actually works really well, because you want as many on the field as you can. You want them to just swarm the field, so you have tons of negates, and then just attack. Okay. Next, we have 2 Triamid Masters. His effect is, it's also okay, that's why I'm not playing 3, but he just sends a face-up Triamid card you control to the grave, then target a set card on the field and destroy it. Targeted destruction, again, isn't the best. Because, your opponent, if it's a face-down spell or trap, your opponent might be able to chain it. So, all the Triamids, which I didn't go over with Hunter, but they all have the effect, send a Triamid field spell card from your field zone to the grave, and then activate a Triamid field spell from your deck with a different name. Now that I think about that, I actually may have gone over it. Man, I don't remember. That's weird. Okay, I'm playing 1 Triamid Dancer because of mainly its attack stat, and it has a really good effect, but it only works well if you can get it out in defense position, or maybe if you have a what's it called, Triamid Sphinx on your field, so you don't have to worry about it. But once per turn, you can target a Triamid in your grave, shuffle into the deck, so it's already good because recycling. And if you do, all rock-type monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense, which is awesome because it doesn't end at the end of the turn. Once per turn, during your, same effect of Triamids, just, recycling, switching. So, moving on, those are all my monsters, so moving on to my spells. We'll start with the Koa'ki Meiru spells, and the best one in the deck right here. Diamond Core of Koa'ki Meiru. It's an effect, it just lets you get to any of your Koa'ki Meiru cards. It lets you add one Koa'ki Meiru card from your deck to your hand, except for Diamond Core. You can banish it from your grave, and for the rest of the turn, Koa'ki Meiru monsters you control can't be destroyed. So it is absolutely amazing. It is such a good card. I'd play 4 if I could, because it gets you to all of your Koa'ki Meirus. It gives you options. It lets you adapt to the situation. If your opponent has a face down you're worried about, I don't know, I guess you'd get Sandman. I wouldn't recommend it. I'd probably instead just go for Overload anyways. So, moving on. We have 1 or 2 Iron Cores. Now, Iron Core, honestly, you're not going to really be discarding that very often to prevent their destruction. You're usually just going to be revealing. What you're going to want to be doing most of the time with Iron Core is meeting your conditions for Iron Core Luster, a counter trap that I'll get to in a sec. So now we're on to the Triamid spells. 3 Triamid King Golem. These are the field spells. King Golem just gives your rock types 500 attack, and it has an Armades effect where if a Triamid monster battles, your opponent's card's own effects can't be activated until the end of the damage step. And if it's sent from the field to the grave, it lets you special summon a Triamid from your hand, so you're probably going to be summoning Sphinx using that effect. Alright, moving on to the next and best field spell, Triamid Cruiser. Each time a rock-type monster is normal summoned, gain 500 life points, which is awesome. May not seem like a difference, but think about it, just, if you summon Hunter, use the effect, get another summon, you just gain 1,000 life points, and if a Triamid monster, is normal summoned, you can draw a card, then discard a card. So Hunter also gives you that effect if you summon him. And it's not a once per turn, so you can just keep on doing that. Like, if you have Hunter's effect, or you can normal summon Hunter and use Hunter's effect to summon, Triamid Master, and that's a lot of drawing you're doing. And I think this is the best because of its other effect too, where when it's sent from the field zone to the grave, you can add a Triamid monster from your deck to your hand, which is awesome. Except it's a hard once per turn, so all of the field spells are hard once per turns. So that kind of sucks. Lastly, we're playing 1 Triamid Fortress. I'm mostly playing this for the attack boost for Sphinx, but, it also has some okay effects. All rock-type monsters gain 500 defense. Triamid monsters on the field can't be destroyed by card effects. I'd much prefer if it said rock types, though. And if this face-up card in the field zone is sent to the grave, you can target a Triamid monster in your grave, add it to your hand. It's better late game, I would say. So, moving on to the non-Triamid and non-Koa'ki Meiru spells. Playing 2 Ties of the Brethren because that lets you get to any of your Koa'ki Meirus and Triamid Master. If you really wanted to, I guess you could play a Neospatian Grandmill since he's a level 3 Earth Rock type along with Triamid Dancer and Triamid Hunter. That'd be a pretty cool tech choice just to work with Ties of the Brethren. Next, I'm playing 2 Terraforming. Reason for this is, obviously, you want to get to your field spells as soon as possible. And if you have some extras in your hand, that's perfect. You could just activate them on top of the current field spell, send it to the grave, and trigger its effect. Moving on to the traps. We're playing 2 Core Blasts. If you can get this card's effect off, it will destroy your opponent. You'll see what I mean. You can only activate this card's effect while you control the face of Koa'ki Meiru, and once per turn during your standby phase, which means you have to have your Koa'ki Meiru survive through your opponent's turn, and you wouldn't use his negate effect. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can destroy a number of cards your opponent controls, so that your opponent will control the same number of cards as you control monsters. So what's likely going to happen is, early game, you may have like one Koa'ki Meiru on the field, which means you can pretty much just wipe your opponent's board except for one card, because you control one monster. Next, 2 Iron Core Luster, that's what I was talking about before. Its effect says, reveal an Iron Core of Koa'ki Meiru in your hand, negate the activation of your opponent's spell or trap, and destroy it. So that's mainly why I'm playing Iron Core. Next, we have 2 Triamid Pulse, and it's a continuous trap that gives you 3 options, but it requires you to banish 2 cards from your grave, which is any combination of rock-type monsters or field spells to activate one of the effects. So the first effect is target one other face-up card in the field and destroy it. You're probably not going to be using that because targeted destruction is very bad now. Second effect, target a rock-type monster in your grave, special summon it in defense position. You probably also won't be using that too often because it requires you to banish 2 rock types or field spell cards. Me personally, I use the last effect the most. Target up to 3 field spells in your grave, shuffle them into the deck, then draw a card. That, it's the cycling effect that's really good. So, like I said, you don't have to play an extra deck at all if you don't want to, but I honestly never go into it because, it's really situational, but, it's just good for it to be there, just in case. So we're playing 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Super Dora. It's a pretty good card if you can manage to get out both of your Sphinx at the same time, and then overlay, because 3200 attack, 4k defense, and it can make a monster you control, or I guess your opponent controls, unaffected by card effects except for its own. So the last 2 cards, it's very small extra deck. I'm just playing 2 Go 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 Goliath. It gives all your monsters you control 800 defense. And you can detach an Xyz material from it, then target a level 4 Earth Rock type in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So you could actually, just detach his material and then add his material to your hand too, so that's pretty good. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is the only deck profile of this type that exists on YouTube. I've looked it up, and I'm not able to find any Koa'ki Meiru Triamid decks. Like, at all. I've seen Koa'ki Meirus and I've seen Triamids, but not combined. But either way, I'm very proud of this deck, and I spent a long time deck testing. In fact, that's why I got rid of Magnet Reverse. I used to play it, but, honestly, it's, I just realized how little it came up. It hardly ever came up. And one of the problems that this deck suffered with is not getting the field spells enough. And I usually ended up with a Magnet Reverse in my hand, but no field spells early game, which means that I could do pretty much nothing, because Triamids aren't much without a field spell. So, yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making this deck, which is a whole lot, because I put a lot of time and effort into this deck, and I'm actually considering making a Chronomaly deck. So, just tell me in the comments what you think about this deck. Like, if you like it, if you think it can be fixed, if you think it's just bad overall. Because I've deck tested it, I've actually brought it to my locals once before, and it did surprisingly well. I won 1 match to Zodiac, but that was because first turn I got, I won the die roll, and I got to negate their normal summon of Rat, and I doubt they're playing a card like Double Summon, or, Tensu. So, negate their summon, they really cannot do much. So yeah, that's about all I have to say. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye!